Most of us, most of our life, after school, after graduations, are living in an autopilot mode without knowing the consequences of the career, the jobs that we are choosing at that moment could lead to a good or bad outcome in our future. We can easily blame that to the educational systems or our busy parents. But in the end, we will be the one that is going to be responsible for the consequences without intentionally noticing and making changes in our path. Nothing is going to look bright in the future. Not only just with a positive attitude that our life can change in any ways. We need actions. We need new directions. We need new behaviors in order to change the perspective in our future. It's very easy to place blame when we know nothing much about the reality of work-life balance. Finding that comfort place in between your work and the life that you wanted to be living in. But after a few years, we'll be having no one to blame for ourselves. There's only so much that school and parents can do to help us. The truth is, the most of our lifetime, every single decision that we made, every failures that we went through, eventually will become the milestones and reasons why we're becoming who we are today. I believe most people are just like me, who had great parents who's working hard to provide, but not necessarily have the knowledge to guide their children to a prosperous future. In the age of our parents that was living in, they were only taught to work hard and be frugal. As I'm a Chinese, I live in Taiwan. I was born and raised in Taiwan. My parents were hardworking and frugal. And they just always tell me that, no, get a job, get to work, save money. And that's about all the education that I got from my parents. And they did the best that they can to tell me how I should live my life. Although I was always in confusion, why? What's the point of all this? After I personally barely finished high school. My father actually begged me to finish high school. And I was working part-time at that time already. And I don't know, I just don't know what's the point of finish high school is for. I'm learning nothing in school. The first thing I get to the classroom is to sleep and just get past the school time. And because I was tired from working, I basically learned absolutely nothing from my education years. My personal journey is that ever since 18, I've been working part-time, and just all the way through, I finished high school, then I get into the workforce, into society. Don't have any idea what I was doing. All I know is to have a job and get my life going, and that's it. I don't have any knowledge of how I should live my life, how I should construct my life to be or to become. It was decades of feeling lost and confused of a life that I was living in. It was one of the most miserable moments of my life. My 20s was so miserable, without a sense of direction, without knowing where I'm going, without knowing what am I here for. All I know is to just get a job and get on with my life. That's it. And that is not enough. Unintentional living is not going to get you anywhere in your life, because the unfulfillment and emptiness and unsolved answer of why are you being here is going to be very devastating. And it could lead to some very dark and bad place if you ran into a few bad friends. That's how you get into drug addictions, party lifestyle. Without a sense of purpose, direction, and meaning in your life, life is not going to do well. Life is going to be very, very, very miserable until you found the foundations of the reasons why you want to be here and you want to continue to move forward. I think the reasons why most of us choose to settle for less mostly was because we were uneducated about our future, our career path, our possibilities. Without proper knowledge, you cannot find a decent, happy, peaceful, joyful place for yourself to be in this world. For me, I only find out how to structure my life after my 30s, because all my 20s was spent fairly wasted on partying, hanging out with bad friends, having zero direction with my life. And to the boiling point, when everything exploded, that's the bottom that picked me up. Because that was when I realized that this life that I'm living have to stop. Because I don't want to be in there anymore. It's unsustainable. It's unlivable. The misery is not worth. The misery is not worth of keeping me here anymore. The pain, the suffering, every single day was strong enough to push me to find new ways to make a living. The loss of freedom was the basic drive that pushed me forward, because I was unhappy being in the workforce, working in the office, or for other people. I don't like that. It's torture for me every single day, so that pushed me forwards. Suffering and pain was my drive to get better, to stop settling for less for myself, for my life. One very simple, selfish reason why I changed the path of my life, just simply because I want my freedom. And for everyone, we all need to find our own reasons to be better, to be more capable, living, surviving in the society. When you have a chip on your shoulder, even though sometimes you don't know how to find that will and drive to push yourself forward, you want to do that for your family, for your loved ones. That's one very interesting perspective that I thought of when thinking about the reasons why we want to push ourselves to do better. Stop settling for less. Stop settling for less. And when come to terms to what is settling for less, the perspective of not settling for each and every one of us could seem a little bit different. And whatever that place is, you just need to structure your life to guide yourself to a place when you can feel a sense of joy, a sense of freedom, a sense of hope, a sense of the possibility to see more prosperous future for yourself. That's the instincts that can guide you through for stop settling for less in your life. We are all so much more capable than we thought of what we can be. I actually didn't know that I'm going to make it or not when I made the decision that from this point on, I want to try to work for myself. I'm actually have zero confidence or ideas that if I'm going to make it or not. But the pain was so deep, there was no choice of giving up. The only reasons that I succeed simply just because I didn't give up. I don't quit. There's no going back for me anymore. If I don't make it, I don't want to make it either. It's just for me, it's like, that's the only way forward from that moment on. The misery was not sufferable anymore. I would say the fundamental reasons why you want to stop settling for less in your life is that you have to have a very strong reason why. Whether it is for your own happiness, peace of mind, freedom, or it is for the parents that loved you so much that you want to be better for them. Or your life is so miserable that no one ever cares about you since you were little, after you were born. Then you owe it to yourself to live a much better life. Because no one in this world cares about how you are doing with your life. You are the only one left. How can you fail yourself when there's no one cares about your life or death? You're the only one left. You cannot let yourself down at this point. You have no one in this world to care about you. That makes it even more important for you to stand up for yourself and to make everything happen for yourself. In the best or in the worst scenario in the situation, either way, we just need to stand up and show up for ourselves. So once we established the reasons why that we need to stop settling for less, the next thing we have to do is to choose to do the hard things. Once we make the decision that we needed to change our life path, the following sequence of what's coming up next will either become more interesting than you expect it to be. The obstacles, the challenges, and the hardships that we are going to face But no matter what, we don't give up. We don't quit. That's the only way forward. That's the only path and possibility for us to change our life completely, intentionally. And as difficult as it was, when I think back, the only thing I feel is that I'm just glad and I'm so grateful that I didn't give up, because I don't know would I even be here if I didn't make it. And that's exactly the reason why I made it, because there's no other way out. I have to make it. I have to make it happen for myself. So in a sense, I didn't choose to do the hard things. The hard things chose me. And it is just simply because I want to live a life of freedom. So no matter where you are in your life right now, you are still in the periods of struggling and feeling confused, or you made a decision to move on with something new. One thing to keep in mind is that choose to do the hard things is the only way to move forward. Staying where you are right now is easy, but you should stay there only if you are living a life of prosperous happiness and freedom. Otherwise, it is time to move on. No need to look back. There's nothing but misery over there. Turn the page. Move yourself into the new chapters of your life. Just sacrifice a few years of your life in exchange for something that is more joyful and meaningful in the future. You owe yourself that much. Since we are here, giving a life, it is time for us to stand up and devoting ourselves into something meaningful and inspiring for ourselves and for the people around us who gave us love and support. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our loved ones. We owe it to this life. Whatever you do with your life from this point on, stop choosing easy. Start choosing hard. Not only are you going to grow so much from the challenges and hardships, not only you are going to make yourself proud, you are going to inspire so many people around you to step up for themselves and for a better future. We are all connected as human beings, as neighbors, as co-workers, as friends, as partners, as family members. We all have the responsibility to try to be better, not only to honor our own life, but the life that's surrounding us throughout our lifetime. What makes a life meaningful is that we try our best for ourselves, for a better future, and we try our best for the people that loved us and care about us. We not only do it for ourselves, but we doing it for the people who loved us. And it was just more than enough. So we just need to keep pushing forward one day at a time.